It is good to see everyone, though. It's good to be back. Another training camp.
How do you view the running back battle? First, I mean, obviously you guys brought Alexander back for a reason, but just kind of the group behind him, how do you kind of assess that?
I think we're in a good position in that they all have different skill sets that can complement each other. Alex is obviously a big physical back. Kane has, kind of a different burst, a different juice, a different speed. Ty Chandler, we know some of the things. He was very productive in the pass game as a college player, and also has, speed as well. So, they all have. I think they're all complete players. I think they can all pass protect. They can run the football, as well as be a threat in the passing game. But and then we got a couple young guys, and I'm leaving out fullbacks here, but we got Dwayne McBride as well, who we think's a young, talented back.
With Alexander, I guess what went into wanting to bring him back and make him RB1?
I think he's proven it over his career when he's gotten opportunities that he's been a very productive back, and that's going into before we got here as well. So he's just he's always knows what to do. He's very intelligent as far as our scheme, our system, pass protection, and then he's a talented back when he's running. He's always going forward. He's got more wiggle than I think some people give him credit for. There were a lot of times where the free guy in the hole, the eighth guy, he made a miss last year when he had his ops, and then made some plays in the passing game as well. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us to try to get Alex back.
Wes, that said, you miss a little bit of that big play element that Dalvin brought to it last year. How do you go about replacing that in a run game, those kind of bigger runs that made such a big difference in the game?
I look at it more as kind of the average over time, and absolutely Dalvin Cook is a big-time playmaker. So maybe that gets filled in other areas at times, but as far as the run game, consistently producing yards and keeping us kind of ahead of the chains where you got more of your call sheet available as games progress, I think is really important for us.
Do you see any evolution in the way the fullback might be used this year after giving CJ, an extension to remain here for a while?
I absolutely do. I think when you first come in and you're implementing an offense, we were very heavy 11 personnel type offense coming into this situation, and then you have a talented guy and you're trying to incorporate some of those things, but just seeing how good a player he is and how productive he is, and then implementing some more schemes with him involved, and now even potentially with 3 tight ends involved. You get a Josh Oliver on board, and you still love Johnny Munn and TJ Hawkinson, getting all 3 guys. We feel like we have a lot of different personnels depending on week to week what we feel like is best to attack the defense, to kind of give them issues.
How important do you feel like it is to have guards who can pull in this era of, system scheme?
I think if a guard can't pull, then he probably doesn't move very well, and that's going to cause you issues in all other areas, particularly pass protection. The amount of twists and movement and things that you see nowadays, there's very few standard fronts, just go forward with 4 guys. So I think that's just overall athleticism. You want guys who can move and are big. You want it all. They're big, strong, and can move, and we feel like we've got a good amount of those players.
Wes, when did you guys sort of arrive at the conclusion of we need to put a little more into heavier personnel, whether it's bringing in Josh Oliver or bringing CJ back? When did that, for you and Kevin, kind of become a priority?
I don't know that we went into it saying, hey, we need to get heavier personnel. It's a little more reactive to what we have. And then, Josh Oliver, when you just look at his production, a lot of it last year with Baltimore was in the run game, but he was also a guy coming out that we all graded that was very productive in the pass game. We were kind of saying, hey, we're going to have to, teach this guy how to block. So he's just a big physical player. You've seen the guy, you've seen what he looks like, but he can put that to use on the field. So, I mean, when you have these guys, when you have Johnny Munn as well, when you have CJ Ham, guys who have been productive in this league. It just makes sense to make sure that we're using all available players.
Justin, and how much defenses pay attention to him. Do you have to keep kind of diversifying the way that you use him to sort of stay a step ahead of defense?
You absolutely have to. You have to account for in a game plan that whatever you may see on tape may not show up in the same way in your game. Maybe they're all single high team, and all you see is a clouded corner and a safety rolling over the top of JJ the whole game. And so you have to just have a plan for that, understanding that, hey, this is what they've shown. Some guys are going to kind of stick to what they do, but if they want to have this plan, whether it's a two-man type of deal for JJ or just a straight up two side on his side, we'll have plays already scripted out just as contingencies for that.
Hey Wes, can you describe the difference between getting TJ here in the middle of the season compared to having him in the building for a whole offseason and now camp, and how much of a boom that leaves for production and growth?
Well, number one, I'd say, as far as a guy coming in when he did to kind of digest and learn our system as well as he did, I mean, it was really impressive, and have the production that he did. But obviously, going through an off season, getting the true install where we have time to really take the time and detail out each concept, run game, pass game, his talent is only going to show that much more.
Wes, I heard you talk the other day about wanting to maximize however many years left he has playing. I was curious, having watched him for a few years, where do you think his growth areas are? Like where can he go next to sort of take the next step?
I think with any veteran player that's played a lot of football and played at a high level, those little areas, it's kind of that 1%, trying to find just little edges here and there, whether it be footwork, whether it be pocket movement, whether it be off-schedule type plays, whether it be recognition of defense, drop 8, understanding, hey, I got a little more time. We're seeing some of that, which has been good for us throughout the spring and so far this camp. But he's probably got a whole list of things himself. But we're just going to coach him every day and try to keep finding those little edges.
And can you describe the growth or the leap you saw in Christian from year 1 to year 2?
Christian, you said?
Yeah, and then where you hope he can take this in year 3 as a player?
Well, anytime you've got a player as talented as Christian, and then to see the work that he put in this offseason, and he came in phenomenal shape. I mean, he was in here working out late night. I think he got that from Trent Williams or something. He'd be here at 11 o'clock at night or something, getting a lift in. As long as he had a spotter, we were okay with that. But just to see the work that he's put in, I mean, I think he's got a real mindset that this is a year where if anyone hadn't noticed him yet, I know the players who play against him certainly notice him. But I think across the league, we'll be talking about him as one of the elite tackles for years to come.
What kind of goes into the personality of a left tackle? I mean, they face the toughest guy every time. Darrisaw has always seemed kind of like a relaxed guy. I guess what do you make of that? Like, is there a personality element to his success?
The best left tackles that I've been around, whether it's Tyron Smith, whether it's Trent Williams, and now Christian, they're smart guys. They have a real understanding of the game, and so they can allow it to kind of slow down a little bit for them. They study tape, they study their opponents, they watch film on their own. There's a lot of things that go into it, and then they're elite athletes on top of it. So, as good athletes as they're facing, I mean, these guys are big dancing bears, and if they can get connected, they've got an advantage with obviously their size and their weight.
Last couple for Coach.
Wes, as you're getting Jaron Hall into things here, what's the progression like for a rookie quarterback, kind of getting used to the offense? How quick do you try to bring in a rookie quarterback along in training camp when you have a guy like that?
Well, a lot of it's going to be on him as to how quickly. He's a very mature individual. He studies. He came in you know, they got little quizzes and Jeopardy type quizzes that Coach O'Hara gives those guys, and you could tell he hadn't just put it away all summer. He came in ready to go in that aspect, but the reps are limited for guys like that, and you know, we feel great about Nick, and so sometimes you're trying to get Nick ready as well for his role, and trying to find Jaron some reps can be tough, but we're going to have some periods where younger guys get an opportunity, and certainly expect to see him some in the preseason as well. Got to see some of those live bullets, got to be able to experience some of the things that he's learned in real time, and we've kind of just started that process, and we'll see where he goes from here.
Jeopardy questions like he has to answer in the form of a question?
In the form of a question, yeah, Coach O'Hara, he's got a nice, I don't know if it's through PowerPoint or something, but he's been doing it for a number of years now. But yeah, it's the whole, you know, double Jeopardy, final Jeopardy, daily doubles. It's a pretty good little deal.
And Wes, pardon me if you've been asked this already, but when a guy like Alexander gets this opportunity, you've seen guys take the leap in the NFL when they have the chance to show what they can do in a starting position. What do you like most about what he brings to the table in that regard?
The consistency of who he is every day, what he's put on tape, every opportunity he's gotten, his multifaceted run game, pass protection, and then his hands in the pass game, his route running ability. I think we're going to see a lot of good things, and maybe people didn't realize how good a player Alex Mattison really is.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate that.
Good to see everyone.